wherever you are. My name is Wawelo Mwangi, and today we want to talk about there are those people in our society who are able differently. They say that disability is not inability. So she's a professional and expert. So we want to just talk about it because there are those people who are in our society differently able. They can do their own things in their own way and to succeed in life. So we talk to her. How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm fine too.
Okay.
So please welcome to Wawelo Mwangi One Show.
Thank you.
So maybe introduce yourself.
Okay. June Chepkirui. So, in my part, we are dealing with those people who have difficulties and disabilities. For example, the mentally handicapped, those who are deaf, and those who are physically handicapped.
And for how long have you been into this profession? And what can you say about so far, so good, or you're trying?
And I've been in this profession for about 7 years, and so far it's very good. We are doing well, but for the start it was difficult, but for now we are doing well. I'm enjoying the profession. Yeah.
And maybe when someone is out there, he or she is differently able, feel as if they are discriminated in the society.
Yeah, they feel like they're discriminated, especially when it comes to people who are deaf.
What should be done as a society, because those people really exist, to ensure that that person really feels as part of the family, as part of the society.
So, for the case of individuals who are deaf, you have to learn sign language for the purposes of communication with them. So, if the individuals who are deaf sees that you are talking well or you're communicating well with them, then they'll not feel that discriminated. So long as the communication is very good, then those people feel like they are like hatters. For the case of people who are with mental challenges, they're supposed to be taken to rehabilitation centers so that they can be taken through the basics. Yeah.
And when it comes to education, as you have said, you find that those schools offering those special needs skills, those schools are really expensive. And maybe many parents, they have that kid at home who is differently able, some kind of disability here and there, and those to take your kid there to those schools, some of them are very expensive, and those parents may find it difficult to take their kids to those schools, and they opt to just keep that child at home.
Okay, you're talking of the schools being expensive. So parents can be assisted by the government. I think the parents having the learners or the students or children with special needs, they can go and report the matter to the nearest administrations, for example, the nearest offices for the government, so that they can be assisted. Yeah.
And do you think that the government has put in proper policies to ensure that those people living with disability, they feel that, for instance, someone needs a wheelchair? Do you think that the government is up to it, ensuring that those people they are really catered for their needs?
Okay, for the case of government, our government is trying. Let's say for the next, let's say 2 years or 2.5 years, the government will have assisted us. It's not an easy thing, so it's trying. Yeah,
So the government is trying.
yeah, the government is trying. Let's say some 2 years or 2.5 years to come, all shall be well. Yeah.
In last year at the general elections, I saw people that were able differently, people with disability, are being given those opportunity to be in leadership position. Do you feel as a society we are doing the right thing?
Those people who have difficulties and disabilities are just like the same people, are just like normal people in our societies. So those people deserve what the other people deserve. If for the case of leadership, they're supposed to be given opportunities just like the other people. Despite the fact that they have disabilities and difficulties, they are people from the society, and they are well taken care of the same way others are taken care of. Yeah.
And thank you very much, because when God creates someone, um, He creates someone with his or her own potential, and those people really, we should not despise them. Maybe they can. You have seen others being given an opportunity like a DJ, and they do wonders. As a profession, as an expert, what do you think should be done to ensure that those people who really living with disability are really getting skills that they require? So we are living in tough economic times, and maybe they might find themselves being not in a position to cope well with the situation. So what should be done to ensure that those people are really helped?
So,
For instance, you
yeah.
might find someone who is disabled, someone is taking advantage of him or her, taking him or her to the streets just to beg for money. But at the end of the day, that person never benefits from that money. Someone else benefit from that money. So you can see that in the society there are those people who are really taking advantage of those people by taking them to the streets to collect money, and at the end of the day they never develop, they never get something, they never benefit from that money.
Okay, so for the sake of those people to be helped, acquire skills, and not to be used by the normal people, the first thing we have to, for the case of normal people, we have to love those people with difficulties and disabilities, as they were not for their fault that they are the way they are. So we have to love them, and we have to take care of them the same way as the normal people. So it is the responsibility of everyone in the society to to love and take care of those people with disabilities and difficulties. And the second thing, the learners with difficulties and disabilities, they have their own schools. The government have tried putting aside their different schools, their vocational training for those learners, and even the universities. The learners have their own schools whereby they can exercise their skills for survival. Then the third one is that parents should love their children and accept their children the way they are, and even guide and counsel them, and especially by telling them, being especially by talking to them so that they can accept the way they are, their disability or the different difficulties they have. Yeah.
And maybe back at home in a society, someone is a deaf and
Yeah.
can't be in a position
Yeah.
to hear, or someone can barely speak. So, and you find a family is finding them in a difficult position to communicate the message. Is those using signs? Is it easy to learn?
No, it's not easy to
It's not.
learn, but for the case of those individuals who are born deaf, they are their first language. It's very easy for them, but for those who are communicating to them, do learn sign language. It's not an easy thing. Sometimes you might leave it because you feel it's very hard. It's time consuming, and it needs a lot of practicals. Yeah.
And thank you very much, and we wish you all the best. It's never easy, especially when you are attending to someone who really needs a lot of attention. You see, it's never easy, and it's not for the faint-hearted. Or what can you say?
Yeah, it's not easy. In fact, when I was in a first year, I almost dropped out of the school. Because everything it was very difficult, and it ate a lot of units. Yeah, just tiresome, but we tried. Yeah, and we had to try for the sake of those people so that we can be in a position to help them and assist them in the day-to-day living activities. Yeah.
Exactly, and congratulations, by the way, because it's never easy for someone to be in a position to help someone who really need attention, your time, you see, your resources as well. So, as you have said, we understand that it's never easy, and you as a lady being in a position to stand out and be willing to help, because it's really an achievement. And as they say, the greatest human act is to aspire to inspire. Maybe those people can feel that their self-esteem is very low. They don't want to associate with other people. But when they find someone who is willing to talk to them, who is willing to help them, who is willing to at least accompany them, it's really encouraged. So I know it's never easy, but we wish you all the best. Maybe your parting short statements on this whole issue.
Okay, thanks. So, yeah, it's dealing with those people who are not able or who are living with difficulties and disabilities. It's not an easy thing. So, I like to advise anyone or to tell anyone that if you come across those people, please help them in a way that you are able to help them. Please appreciate them and accept them the way they are so that they can be happy.
Let us do what is necessary. If you find someone who really needs help, be willing to help. Because that's all for now with our expert, June Chepkurui. So until next time, and this is Wailo Mwangi One Show. See you. Bye for now.